Welcome back to another crypto cruise. This week is certainly different than all previous weeks. We are in November, obviously, and it's been absolutely fantastic. So I got to talk about what has happened this week so far, and it's been fantastic, like I said. And I'm going to be doing so in this brand new 2025 Toyota Land Cruiser. Yes, I'm reviewing a fun car that a lot of people have been asking for. So let's get started. First of all, what happened this week? Well, fantastic things. Bitcoin finally broke into a new high, and kept going. And not only that, the entire market kept going. The crypto market cap blew up, and a lot of alts finally started moving. Some of your favorite L1s, L2s started moving, and memes started moving. Everything started moving. Kind of like I said, expected. But more importantly, Bitcoin led the way. We had two major things. The biggest one, of course, was the big election. And as expected, Mr. Donald J. Trump became president once again. And the markets reacted and everyone loved it. I know not everyone wanted Trump to win, but he was expected to win. The markets priced it in. And markets blew up afterwards. And what more could be said? I talked about it many times during this week, and it came true, right afterwards. Actually, during the day of election, Bitcoin started ticking upwards, right? And all that night, you saw Bitcoin kept ticking upwards. And then that night, I believe Bitcoin broke through 73.8, kept going to 74 territory, and then that night we broke into 75 territory, and then we broke into all-time high, right? And then that night it was just exciting. I didn't plan on streaming, but I did anyways. We watched the election results, or the polling results, a little bit, and we broke into 75 territory. And then days after that, we broke into 76 territory. I mean, it's been wild, right? And the way we're going now, who knows? By the end of this month, will we be in the 80s? Will we be 100,000 by the end of this year? The way we're moving, certainly it can be, it's doable. It certainly can be possible, right? I told you guys to be patient, to hodl, to believe what's coming, and those of you guys that held on and accumulated and DCA'd, congrats, right? We are now getting to a point, I don't know if you guys feel the weight of Bitcoin. I've said so many times over this past year and many years before. It is damn expensive to accumulate now. It is damn expensive. Those of you guys that have not been doing so, you probably feel it now. It's 70 freaking thousand, $76,000 to buy one freaking Bitcoin. It's hard to accumulate, and pretty soon it's going to cost $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 to buy a single Bitcoin. So if you have not been accumulating, it hurts. It hurts, right? It pretty much sucks if you have not been accumulating. This is why I've been telling you guys to do so. And it's only going to hurt more as Bitcoin goes higher. And after the rate cut, we just had one and we're going to have another one. So, the liquidity injections from US and around the world is going to make the conditions more favorable going forward, and it's only going to get better. It really is. I just don't see anything stopping us. You know, the economies around the world are slowing down for sure. People are spending less for sure. But these rate cuts and liquidity injections are going to help a whole lot. You know, there were fears about, hey, maybe the U.S. is going to slide into recession, but that's what Big Daddy Powell's here to do, to stop that. That's what these rate cuts and liquidity injections are going to do, to help save the American people, and hopefully Trump and his new agenda or agendas will help. And, you know, if he puts Bitcoin at the forefront and makes Bitcoin a strategic reserve, that's going to be a huge thing going forward. Not only is it going to drive Bitcoin's price up to the moon as the U.S. government starts accumulating, but also it's going to make other countries pay attention. It's going to force other countries to get in on action. That's going to be huge. Along with governments buying, ETFs buying, whales buying, retail buying. Man, there's just not enough to go around if you think about it. Not enough. And then all this enthusiasm, all this buying. We know that crypto market is coming up too. I said this. A lot of people were very, very down about alts. Why are alts not moving? Why are alts not down? Well, this week we saw renewed enthusiasm, right? A lot of stable coins now coming back to the market. I've said we need to see some enthusiasm. We need to see Bitcoin break into new highs. That's how confidence will come back. And that's what we saw. Retail came back strong, and retail will probably continue to come back, and that confidence will be renewed more and more as Bitcoin continues to get bigger and stronger, right? And I think we'll probably go see more of that as Bitcoin continues to get stronger these next 2 months, and hopefully we're gonna get that mini altcoin season and have it continue. So those of you guys that's been holding on your alts and DCAing, hopefully you're gonna get rewarded next 2 months. Are we gonna move full blown into altcoin season? Probably not. We're probably not gonna see that until latter half of 2025, but just getting a little bit of breathing room with the alts right now, that's very positive indeed. Anyways, you know, it's smooth sailing from here on out, I think, until the end of the year. I really think there's really nothing stopping us from now. We got everything we wanted. Gary Gensler's probably, you know, updating his resume right now. He's on his way out. He knows it. I really can't see at this point in time what's going to stop us. Mt. Gox FUD is nearly over. There's not that much they need to distribute. You know, this worry about the U.S. government selling off what they hold, that's going to stop, because Trump said that he's going to make Bitcoin, you know, a strategic reserve, starting with what the U.S. government holds. So that means they're not going to sell off right now. So that FUD is going away. So I don't know what else there is. You know, what other FUD is there left to address, or what could come out? I really don't know. You know, November traditionally is a great month for stocks, for broader market. And we're seeing that already. December Santa rally. I mean, what? I don't know. I guess if you're contrarian, you're like, well, everyone's so bullish, right? I must be a contrarian, sell up. Maybe that's it. I don't know what else to be bearish about, but I guess just be cautious. Don't go too crazy with leverage. I know a lot of you guys are throwing out a lot of longs right now. We've been seeing a lot of shorts get liquidated, especially this week. Hundreds of millions of shorts get liquidated. But you know what? Those market makers, those whales, maybe the exchanges, they like to play both sides. So if you're playing with leverage, I gotta say, remember just last week I was saying, man, I got wrecked with my longs. Don't go too crazy with leverage. This is you know, when it's a sure thing and you're going too crazy with some. I know some of you guys are saying, oh, I made some big money with my 50x or 100x. Don't do it. You know, if you're gonna do it, just do a small amount still. Try to stay within your like 3x, maybe 5x. Don't go any higher than that. That's how you get wrecked. The best is still do like 2 or 3x small leverage, roll it in or something. But when you start getting too greedy, that's when like one major dip will wipe you out. So if you're gonna do that, don't go too greedy or altogether stay away. Just continue to hold what you have and accumulate and be happy with it. So I think that's the only warning. When you get too greedy, too bullish, you start making too many aggressive moves, that's when you wreck yourself. So I gotta say, just be careful with that, right? All right, next up, let me review this brand new 2025 Land Cruiser. So Land Cruiser in America has always been targeted or marketed as a luxury vehicle for whatever reason. Land Cruisers were sold for $80,000, $90,000, and it was also marketed as a Lexus vehicle, the LX, right? But outside of America, Land Cruisers known for a really good, reliable off-road vehicle, but in America, always marketed as a luxury vehicle for whatever reason. So sales, not the greatest, and it was discontinued in 2021. But you know what? Toyota finally decided, hey, let's try something different. Let's bring back the Land Cruiser, but this time, not really as an off-road vehicle, sort of, but more like a mid-size SUV. It's sharing its platform with the new 4Runner, Sequoia, Tacoma, and Tundra. So it's kind of funky that way. So let's go over the pros and cons, because there are a lot of kind of cons in my opinion. But pros, let's start out with that. It has a new modern refreshed look. You know, looks are subjective. I think some people think the look is good. It has that Toyota look. You can't mistake it. It does look like a Toyota. I don't know how to describe it. It just looks like a Toyota. And whether that's a good thing or not, you decide. As a two-tone look, it looks big, yet it doesn't. It looks way smaller than the old Land Cruiser, yet on paper, if you looked at the height, the width, and the length, it's bigger than the old one. I don't know how that's possible. In every dimension that you could look at, it's bigger than the old one, yet the eye test will tell you it's smaller. Makes no sense to me. Yeah, but it does have that modern look. If you look at like fuel economy, it's way better than the old one. Okay, obviously it has all the modern amenities, right? Modern technology, okay, that the old one does not have, like wireless charging. Okay, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, check, right? You have a lot of modern screens. You got a big 12.3-inch screen. You have a digital gauge cluster. You have a digital rearview mirror. You know, all these things you have, right? All the modern amenities, right? Modern interior, very nice leather interior throughout. These are all great things. So obviously you have the latest and greatest. And also all the off-road goodies you still have. The old goodness like multi-terrain select, downhill assist control, you have locking rear differential, locking center differential, all check. You also have a new feature, electronic sway bar disconnect. That's also included now. And, you know, a few other stuff like mode select, like eco and sport and stuff like that. All the electronic goodies, yes. For off-roadness, yes. You have those as well. So yeah, everything that you want in the latest safety features. Toyota Safety Sense, I think it's 3. I don't know if it's been upgraded to 4 now. You have. So those are all good. Fuel economy is way better now, 23 miles per gallon combined. You know, on a big, heavy SUV like this, great. And of course, the drive itself, this feels more like a midsize SUV, not a big, freaking like full-size SUV. It's easier to drive. You still have great visibility all around. Sitting position is great, and so much quieter on the inside. It feels more like a luxury SUV. It's really quiet on the inside. You could probably hear it in the camera. I don't have a lapel microphone. It's really quiet on the inside. So, and the suspension is nice. So overall, this is just more modern. Obviously, this is the platform is new, and this is a newer SUV. So a lot of good things. The space on the inside is quite large. The trunk is also quite large. So for hauling the family, this is a 5-passenger vehicle, and the trunk space is quite large. These are all great things. And in terms of power, you get slightly less horsepower, 326, versus the old ones like 381. But you get a lot more torque. It's like I think it's like 465 or something versus the old one, which is like 401. So you do get a lot more grunt, and for a big heavy SUV, that's not bad. Of course, you want more grunt, more torque to pass, and especially when you're towing or hauling things, right? So these are all great things. Now, what about the cons? There are definitely a few too. As for the engine, I just mentioned, right? They got rid of the old tried and true V8, which not only sounded great, but also it was tried and true. It's been out forever. It was reliable. This new one is called iForce Max. The old one's called an iForce. This one's iForce Max. And get ready for this. It's a 2.4 liter i4 turbocharged plus 2 hybrid electric motors combined. All right, so yeah, imagine working on this. For you gearheads that like to do your own maintenance and work on your own car, imagine working on a 4-cylinder that's not only turbocharged, but also made into 2 electric motors. Is this this whole powertrain reliable? No clue. And those electric motors, one is like mounted right between the engine and the transmission, so you can't even get access to it. So yeah. So I don't know, maybe this is the most. Toyota said they've been working on this engine for like a decade, so maybe it is a very, very reliable engine like the old one. No one knows at this point. I know the Tundra had some issues with their iForce Max engine. It's a little bit different than this one, but again, it doesn't sound nearly as good. It does get better fuel economy. It does get decent amount of torque. But as for reliability, no idea. It's made it to 10-speed auto, which I will say around city, it does shift really nice. That doesn't hunt for gears. But again, like with a new kind of engine like this, forget about working on it yourself. And as for reliability, unknown at this point. Other things, it doesn't tow as much. The old Land Cruiser could tow 8,000 pounds, so you could tow a bigger boat. This one could tow 6,000 pounds. And I don't know about the torque curve with this. I don't know how it is when you're towing uphill and stuff like that. So there are downsides to this new engine, even though you have more torque. And another thing is all this off-road capability, right? The ground clearance on this Land Cruiser. It's 8.3 inches. That's as much as like a Subaru Outback. Remember last week I told you guys about the Outback, right? And a lot of you guys didn't like really care for it, but you know, that hatchback has as much ground clearance as this big honking Land Cruiser. So, you know, even though you got like all this locking differentials and stuff, the approach angle and departure angle and all that stuff, you know, could be worse than that Outback. So if you can't get over something, then all this advanced gadgetry can't help you, right? If you can't get over a hump or a rock that's bigger than an 8.3 inches, none of this is going to help you, right? And then, you know, this SUV only comes with 33-inch tires, and they don't even look like all-terrain tires. Maybe they are, but they don't look like very aggressive tires. So, you know, I don't know how off-road you could go with this SUV. I do like how the roof rack looks like it's very solid. It's like solid metal, right? So you could probably throw a lot of stuff up there. So that's pretty good. And you get side steps too for those of you guys on a shorter side. I had no problem getting in, but you know, I can see how kids and people on the shorter side, you know, that's pretty nice. But yeah, you know, I don't know how this is going off-road, and quite frankly, another question I have is, this is not bigger, really, compared to the new 4Runner. And the new 4Runner TRD Pro, quite frankly, is going to be a better off-road vehicle than this. So I don't know the reason why a Land Cruiser exists. This is a 5-passenger vehicle. You can't get a third row. And Toyota, you know, left the third row stuff back there. You actually have cup holders in the third row. You actually have a USB port in the third row, even though you can't get third row seats. They probably left that over from the Sequoia or something. So it's funny that you have cup holders in the back and a USB port, but no one can sit back there, right? So it's kind of funny how that works. But again, this is not going to be better than a TRD Pro 4Runner. And if this is like the same size as the 4Runner, so I don't even get the point of why you have a Land Cruiser. It's like the same price. So I don't know why this car exists. What's the niche for this, right? Besides the name, I guess, you know, I don't know. I actually don't know. There's no like reason for it. So that's the other thing. I guess, you know, if Toyota feels like they could bring the name back and people will go buy it, I guess. But again, I don't know the reason for it. It's gonna be a hard sell. 4Runner is such a good name in America. Everyone loves the 4Runner. I love the 4Runner. I just don't know why you would buy this over a 4Runner. I would buy a 4Runner TRD Pro all day long. I don't know about this though. I really don't. And it's in the same price category. You know, we're talking about the mid 50s to the 60s. That's the same price range as the 4Runner. Again, I don't know. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Overall, this is not a bad SUV. This is a pretty nice SUV. Like I said, a lot of good, some cons. Not the pickiest. I mean, not the worst cons. Another con is these mirrors. They're very tall, but not wide. So I wish they were wider, because it irritates me that it's very tall, but I can't see a lot out the side. I don't know why Toyota did that. I wish they were more like truck mirrors, where they were much wider, because on a big vehicle like this, I like to see more out the side, especially if you were towing. You know, you want the bigger tow mirrors. I like those on trucks, but this is not. This is more like a really tall, narrow mirror, and that's irritating. Yeah, not sure why. Not sure why. And quality wise on the interior, there's not a lot of leather. Besides the seats, like all the dash and everything, it's just more like a plastic, you know. So for this price range, you would figure you get a lot more like, you know, like leather. And you don't. Like if you got a Telluride, for example, that's in the high 50s and 60s, everything would be covered in quilted leather, and that's not what you get in here. So I know it's a different kind of vehicle. This is more for off-road, while those are more like luxurious. Like if you got what is it, Highlander, you know, what is it, the Highlander Max? Is it Highlander Max? Yeah, I think it's Highlander Max. That would be more luxurious. I guess it's a different vehicle, but yeah, I don't know, just nitpicking here. All right, I'm off track. Anyways, Bitcoin is doing well. You could sell one Bitcoin and buy this if you wanted to, or you could wait until Bitcoin hits 100,000. Then you could sell one Bitcoin and buy two of these, or you could wait until Bitcoin hits 250,000. Then you could sell one and buy almost 4 of these if you wanted to. Then it wouldn't be too bad, right? All right, smash it a like, subscribe to the channel. I don't know if I'm going to put out a Sunday walk video, guys. Hopefully I will, and then I'll see you guys on Monday. Yes. In case you guys don't know, I'm traveling this weekend, so my schedule's a little off. So I don't know about my Sunday walk video. Hopefully I'll do one, and I don't know about Monday morning. Maybe. But yeah, I'll figure it out, guys. I'll figure it out. Stay strong. Enjoy your gains. I'll see you guys later. All right. Bye-bye.